Good day, classmates. I am Joven and in this video, we will continue our discussion on printing methods. We will go over digital printing, which has helped accelerate widespread color printing around the globe. But first, let's take a pause. If you look at the documents around your room, most of it will be digitally printed, from your official documents to even promotional materials like your favorite fast food resto's menu. But how is digital printing different from the printing methods that we have already discussed? In the past videos, we have already discussed what letterpress, dabber, and silkscreen printing are, which are forms of analog printing. Together with offset printing, they all use printing plates to transfer ink onto a surface like paper. Meanwhile, digital printing does not need any printing plate. But why? First, let's define what digital printing is. According to PDQ Printing of Las Vegas, digital printing utilizes electronic files to produce a printed piece from spots and dots of ink, toner, or dye. The design and preparation process is totally digital, from designing the document on computer, tablet, or even just your phone to just pressing a button to start the printing of the document onto a surface. But to truly understand how digital printing works, we have to know its origins first. In 1938, serigraphy was invented by Chester Carlson. This method transfers images by using static electricity on a light-sensitive paper and using heat to set the toner. This will become popular by the 1960s and will become the basis of laser printing technology. The first genuine form of digital printer was developed in the 1950s with dot matrix printers, which has a print head that disposes ink into closely spaced dots to form characters, and this will become the basis for our inkjet printing. This is followed by the prototypes of early inkjet printers that appeared in the 1950s, with Siemens filing the first patent. Inkjet printing will only be commercialized by the 1970s. And following inkjet printing is laser printing, which was developed by Gary Starkweather in 1969 while working at Xerox. A special laser printing is based on serigraphy. By the 1980s, more companies has introduced more and multiple models of both laser and inkjet printers. Hewlett Packard or HP was leading, introducing thermal and color inkjet printers while releasing its first desktop laser printer, making digital printing accessible to more businesses and individuals. And this has had this has led to the widespread adoption of digital color printing by the 2000s, when households now had the chance to own their own printers and also computers. As we reach the 2000s and the 2010s, printing materials, resolution, and speed were improved thanks to technology, and a new form of printing based on inkjet printer emerged, the 3D printing. But for this lesson, let's just focus on common 2D printing. To better understand the process, let's just go over the details of inkjet and laser printing. First, the inkjet printing process involves spraying droplets of ink through computer-controlled nozzles. But how does that exactly happen? In an inkjet printer, there is a cartridge where wet ink is dispensed through small holes. An electronic magnetic charge is set to each nozzle crystal, which causes the nozzle to vibrate and drop ink. The charge strength helps dictate the amount of ink dispersed and also guides the distribution of color in designated sections. Mixing the colors and putting them close helps form an image that we see in an output of an inkjet printer. Meanwhile, laser printing creates an image by using static electricity to attract toner to specific areas of an imaging drum before it's transferred and bonded onto a paper. But how does that work? First, let's take a look into a parts of a laser printer. We have the toner, a dry powder based material, the laser itself, and then we have the different rollers. The first two rollers are the charging roller and the OPC drum. A charging roller sends negative charge to the OPC drum surface, and the laser applies positive charge into the OPC drum into closed spaces to form an image. These positively charged particles are applied with toner from the developer roller, which is transferred into a paper with the help of the transfer roller. And then the heat roller helps the toner set the heat roller is helps the toner set onto the paper, producing the laser print. To help better visualize both inkjet and laser printing, here is a guide. Since it is wet, ink is absorbed by the paper when you're using an inkjet printer. It needs delay for penetration and evaporation of ink. Meanwhile, the dry powder-based toner forms another layer on top of the paper for laser printing. The difference means that inkjet is best for only a small number of documents, while laser printing is great for fast printing of a high number of documents. Due to the different strengths of ink and toner, photo printing is definitely better in inkjet, while text-heavy printing is more recommended in laser printers because it lasts longer. In inkjet, on the other hand, it is more useful for various paper types and the printer is cheaper. However, ink cartridges last shorter. We do have ink tanks and continuous printing ink systems right now that help these printers last longer. These two printing methods, despite their differences, remain common in our homes, schools, and workplaces. Why? First, it actually makes the whole printing process convenient. In the pre-press, you can actually do everything from research to writing to layout, proofreading in just one single digital device. The materials are, can be prepared in just a minute and you can just start your printing stage. It's just easy to prepare the printer and you can just press the button. Post-press, of course, still includes some finishing, folding, and or binding, and then packaging and distribution. Digital printing not only makes the printing process itself convenient, but shortens it. And this helps uh, accelerate the widespread availability of convenient use of digital printing. And these digital publishing tools, these design tools like Word and Publisher, now help people produce their own print materials. Like imagine students, professionals, or even older populations just using these tools to create their own print materials. Most print publications prefer InDesign to design their own output, but the rise of Canva has helped people conveniently design their own print materials with guided templates and design from their own website. With digital printing, a simple person can now design and produce, even print on their own without training, compared to the analog methods of printing where you have to prepare the printing plate and then, prepare the other materials. You just have to press the print button on your device if you are using digital printing. And that makes the whole process intuitive. And this digital printing process also makes the printing process faster and you can do it anytime without the need to wait for the printing press turnaround. The short turnaround in digital printing also enables on-demand printing, allowing for changes in printing along the way. It is also much more versatile with different color and photo applications, and you can use it with different materials. Lastly, it is also really convenient and accessible anywhere. It helps small groups like families and community organizations print communication materials on their own. If you do not have a printer, you can just go to a internet or computer cafe here in the Philippines and have your documents printed. Digital color printing can help us elevate our communication materials and not just make it faster. We can use more graphics, images, or even play around the design elements to ensure our audience gets the full message. With digital printing, we are not only limited to books or newspapers, and we can explore different sizes and formats. Like for example, we have newsletters and magazines like this UP Forum magazine to keep the community or your audience updated with the latest news and information. And then next, we have the brochures for quick and yet impactful information delivery like this HIV 101 brochure. And then we have booklets and instructional materials that will help guide our community or audience towards the process, like this baby book that I'm sure most of us have seen. And then lastly, posters and bulletins that help show more information about the topic. For example, the Pasig River Expressway and this poster that we have designed for Ilog Pasiglahin. So it can be visual or information driven. So with digital printing, we can maximize the potential of print communication towards impact in the development sector. To recap, here are the main points of our lesson. First, digital process. The digital printing process is made on an electronic device and where the output is transferred onto a material like paper. And then the common methods of digital printing that we have is inkjet printing using wet ink, and then we have laser printing using dry toner powder, and then we have a lot of advantages. So that's it for our discussion on digital printing. I hope you learn more about the process, which we often take for granted since it's easily accessible and convenient. And for our discussion questions, I am interested in how digital printing works in your life. First, what type of digital printing materials have you used in your work or volunteer experience? How is printing useful for your experience? The second, in this age of cell phones and social media, how can development communicators like us still use digital printing effectively? These are some important questions, and I cannot wait to see your answers again. Thank you and see you soon.